Hey there everyone! Welcome back to another exciting video for the Shibarium community and its partners. I'm ETH and Shib, and my mission is to spread knowledge and positivity within the Shibarium ecosystem. This video is the 25th of all X-Space Weekly DAO Update series. This X-Space was held July 11th, 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's another K9 Finance Weekly DAO Spaces update number 25. There's 25 weeks in a row of weekly DAO updates from K9 Finance, the staking partner for SHIB token and beyond. I'm trying to work that in at the beginning. Hi, welcome to Spaces. I'm the K9 Finance account. I'm also just Pulse Digital. The account. Remember, I don't ever represent K9. I'm here to lead the spaces, as I always do here every Thursday for you guys. Your weekly update on K9 news and announcements now. Holy cow. Take a seat, get a notepad, because it's going to be that kind of a week. It's been huge. There's so much stuff going on. So we've got a rack of guests that are going to get approved as speakers. They're going to come up here. We've got updates from the Shibarium launch. Obviously, the bridge is the first thing we're going to end up talking about because no one's going to avoid that. But then there's Snapshot news. There's all kinds of updates from treasury news. And we're going to get into it with everybody. So what can you do when you get to a spaces like this? How can you help me out? How can you help you? Help me help you. Help me help you because you're here for K9, right? You can go down in the bottom right and comment down there. We need as many comments as possible down there. Comments are good for you. Algorithmically, they get you. They increase the likelihood that your posts are being seen, and they help us. They help the space be more visible as people fill in. So let's get some comments down there. Put your K9 content down there. Tell me what you had for lunch. I don't care. As long as you get a comment down there, I'll be excited to see it. Share the spaces. Put it on your timeline. That's the easiest thing you can do. Let people know you were here. Take a screenshot if you want. That's great to put on your timeline. And you can also send DMs. If you know somebody that would want to be here who is missing it currently, send a DM. And last is emojis. It helps us as speakers. If you use emojis, we can get an idea that you can hear what we're talking about, that you do or don't enjoy it. You're crying, laughing along with us as we go through the discussion. So you'll notice Buzz and Turtle are up here. We've got some other people that are going to appear later in throughout the show, so we'll wait for them to roll through, but I cannot start the show without going directly to Buzz. Good day, sir. Week 25, and what a week it has been. How are you?
Good, doing well. Obviously, yesterday was a super long day, but it was very successful. Another successful launch under the belt of the DAO, launching the token live on Shibarium and, of course, on Shibaswap. And everything is moving in full force for this quarter.
It's good. Early start, right? Everybody was asking what was going to start happening in Q3. And I think that people forgot, or there are some people that might have forgot that there was more than just the DApp release to be looking for. It wasn't just that there's this one thing that's going to happen. There's so many little things along the way. And this is a huge milestone. And there's been some great press this week. Obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how busy you were yesterday. And you just mentioned that, but that was not all dev work. You've been doing press work and dev work and, regular family work and stuff like that. So now that you've had, I assume, at least 1 or 2 hours of sleep looking back at yesterday, what are some of your takeaways from that busy day?
I think a lot of it goes to us just being really happy that we can walk the walk, so to speak. Like we've gotten a lot of questions since the start of K9 of like, hey, why are you launching the token on ETH? And the answer to that has always been, well, that's where the validation layer happens for Shibarium, and we've always told people that we were going to migrate to Shibarium, and here we are. So it's really meaningful to be able to fulfill that part of our roadmap. But at the same time, what we're seeing is that in our community, we have 7,000, probably about 10 to 12,000 holders, and our holder count on Shibarium right now is low. So there's some education that needs to be done for people to want to bridge over to Shibarium and know how to bridge over to Shibarium. We were looking at the K9 volume on Shibarium versus some other pools there, and very excited to see how the K9 is performing on Shibarium, but a lot of work to be done. More people to bridge over to Shibarium, and there's some cool proposals in the DAO right now that are actually at on-chain voting that will hopefully incentivize people to bridge to Shibarium.
I actually have some notes down that later, I'm not going to get into it right up front, but I have questions about some of what you just went into because it's not my style to let the hard stuff go. So I'm going to circle back. I actually just put another star next to it. Turtle, I want to ask you the same thing because I know you were also busy yesterday and you saw all the stuff that was going on from your perspective. What's it like looking back on everything and how are you feeling, man?
Feeling really good today. It's been a very busy week, as everyone has seen. Lots of development stuff happening, lots of roundtable stuff happening, lots of form proposal stuff happening. But everything's been getting done and done correctly, which is nice. These things are always, it's a big pressure moment, requires a lot of coordination to do everything right on the first pass. And with crypto, you don't really get redos that easily. So super proud of how the team has handled this week and everything is looking great, to be honest.
Good, man. You both sound pretty low stress about it, which after a single day after all of this is nice because sometimes you can hear the panic in people's voices when things are still not copacetic on the other end.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday, you could feel the tension in the air for sure. But once you get everything done and everything is working correctly, there's just, that feeling of relief. So that's probably what you're hearing out of Buzz and I today.
Yeah, man. And I'd be curious too, Funk, sort of the same question, because I know you were wrapped up with a lot of stuff yesterday trying to navigate the chats, the discussions that were going on, the spaces that we did with Mario and stuff like that. So looking back now, how are you feeling about how things went yesterday?
I don't know how to put this, but I love token launches. I feel like I was made for token launches. I was excited all day. I love everyone coming in, asking questions. How do I bridge to Shibarium? I loved educating people. I got on VCs, helped people make sure that they were able to get their bone over to Shibarium. And I just had a great time socializing and feeling that energy in the chat room. I live for that kind of stuff. So, while Buzz and Turtle were behind the scenes working on the tech, and that's very highly stressful because I've definitely been the person to push launch on a button before. And, there's all those anxieties that come in. Is everything set up right? Is everything working as intended now that it's moved to mainnet and things of that nature? But from my end, I was just excited to see the excitement from the community. And man, I'm back on Shibarium. So I'm excited with K9 this time. So I'm excited to be on Shibarium. And I definitely did some trading on K9 myself, bought some bags over there. I love the blockchain. So I'm excited as we move forward.
Well, I'd like to take an opportunity since I'm up here, I'm the voice of the DAO, right? So Buzz and Turtle and Funk, you're not the only ones that were busy yesterday, but on behalf of the community, I'd like to extend to all three of you a big thank you from everybody for getting this done, because I know that everybody's got the microphone right now. So if I speak for anyone else in the group, please throw up some emojis. Buzz for the dev work, like you said, for hitting the targets as you promised. Turtle for the work you've done to keep that management level working behind the scenes. You guys have no idea how hard Turtle works, because I know he doesn't talk as much as some of these other people do, but you should see it. And then Funk for all the work you did, like you said, in the chats and navigating the discussions and doing the education. Like I said, we have a whole moderator team and a whole bunch of other admins that are not up here for me to throw the roses at their feet. But from me and the community, Buzz, Turtle, Funk, thank you. Because frankly, like Buzz said, and I'm not just making jokes up here, sometimes launches don't go that well. And things went really, really well, despite what some people might have come in and said, because you can't please all the people all the time. It went well. Things are all right, and we're going to figure it out. My wife always says, it will probably be okay. Like, no matter what happens, it will probably be okay. So we've done a great job, and I appreciate the work that you guys put into it to get us there. Now, more specifically, I do have questions for you, Buzz, because we're talking about the launch, about the market cap and the liquidity provision situation, because there have been questions I've seen in the chat, and I know Funk's been handling these things too. There's 2 buy bots running right now, and there's been confusion about that. So can you dive into what we're looking at with those 2 buy bots and what some of that confusion might be stemming from?
Yeah, so the governance around the K9 token, like in terms of total supply, circulating supply, all of that stuff, it's unchanged with us moving to Shibarium. So like if you were to move over 1 million K9 tokens from Ethereum to Shibarium, the total supply and circulating supply of the token remain the same. It's just you have some on Shibarium and some on Ethereum. And some of the confusion yesterday was around the lack of support for tools in the Shibarium space, but the coin ranker buy bot that we use with our partners at CoinMerge, they, as of yesterday, didn't support a token being on 2 chains at once, so it got a little bit confused. So yesterday we had to use 2 different buy bots. I think we were using Bobby and the coin ranker bot at the same time, and the bot that was pulling data from Shibarium is only getting the Shibarium data from there. And these buy-bots are not used to having a token in two different places. But I did just get a message before this Spaces that CoinMerge has been kind enough to actually upgrade their buy-bot in terms of the infrastructure there to support an aggregated number for those. So maybe later today or tomorrow that'll be implemented, where now the buy-bot will just be showing one accurate feed. So it'll show the total holder count across both chains and the accurate market cap number for the token in its entirety, whereas yesterday it was looking at what's the market cap on Shibarium, which would only be the number of tokens that were bridged there, and then we're looking at Ethereum and Shibarium separately. So really happy to work with our partners CoinMerge there, and just big ups to them for getting that done, because it can certainly be confusing, right?
Go ahead, Funk.
Yeah, as I guess the product owner of the CoinRanker buybot, I could also speak to that. Yeah, what Buzz said was exactly right. So BuyTech was having some issues. It wasn't showing the buys, so we had to quickly, in the heat of the moment, switch the CoinRanker buybot to Shibarium, because we're one of the very few buybots that shows Shibarium, I think us and Shibware. And there was no one for customer support for Shibware at the time. So functionally, we just switched CoinRanker to Shibarium, and then we brought in Bobby for ETH. But then as of today, we lifted a code lift and switch. So now it's just the one buybot for everything. We did already aggregate the holder count specific for K9. So now whenever the Shibarium buys come in and the ETH buys come in, it'll show the aggregated holder count. So next up is the market cap, just getting the market cap all the same. The market cap will be listed on the Ethereum buys and it will be accurate. But the market cap on the Shibarium side, again, because it's just the systems are made to look at that specific Shibarium pool. But you know, it's a great edge case to push our product forward for the buybot, and be able to aggregate all these data points and accommodate more different types of smart contracts, because a lot of projects that launch multi-chain do it in different ways. Sometimes they have the total supply on both the same, but the way that K9s works is that it actually removes and adds tokens to the K9 smart contract blockchain as people bridge it over to and fro. So it's a unique setup, it's a sophisticated setup, and it's just a good challenge to make our product better and hopefully help K9 in the future have all the infrastructure that they need to be successful.
I appreciate you clearing that up. And if you guys ever have questions about that CoinRanker that he's talking about, or if you have someone that would want to use that in their chat, make sure you guys are reaching out to Funk. He's a huge resource for that stuff. I have a small side quest because while Funk and Buzz were talking, I noticed that Index came in here, the Canadian exchange. This is the second or third Spaces they've come in here. If anybody's bored and you're sitting in front of your computer, can you go tell Index thank you for attending our Spaces again? It would be fun to flood them with a bunch of thank yous. We're not listed on Index or anything, but anytime you see an exchange come and check out the Spaces, it's always cool to go send them a thank you. So if anybody's sitting in front of your computer, Index just came into the Spaces again, it would be cool to go send them a thank you. You never know what being nice can get you, so that'd be cool. I had another question for Buzz, and we'll go back around. Maybe Turtle will know some of this one too, because this was my DeFi brain started thinking about this yesterday, Buzz, and I wonder if I'm the first to ask this. I saw the launch on Shibarium, I saw the liquidity, I saw the prices. Are we as a DAO adding liquidity over time? That's question 1A. And 1B, can individuals add their own liquidity? And sub-question 1B, would that be beneficial, or is that even worth it? So what's liquidity provision look like on Shibarium?
Yeah, great question that actually ties into some of the DAO voting as well. So we added about 50K worth of liquidity on Shibaswap yesterday. The same amount will be put onto our next two dexes that we'll be launching. We're actually going to launch on ChewySwap tomorrow, but due to the Gnosis safe whole shabacle there with their domain, we're going to push that to Tuesday of next week to be launching on Chewy, just because we want to be cognizant that you shouldn't really be using Gnosis Safe's front end right now to send multi-sig transactions. So right now there's only that 50K. It's probably more now because the price has gone up, but of liquidity in Shibaswap. And for community members who may want to add more, of course, you're you're welcome to, and it certainly helps the project to have more liquidity. But we do have about that's only about 1/3 of the liquidity that we have earmarked for Shibarium in general. And if I were a community member, I was wanting to add liquidity, I'd probably do so after we launch on Chewy or on Woof, because then you can stake those LP tokens to earn Chewy tokens or Woof tokens as well. And this kind of goes full circle into, I'm sure, what Turtle will talk about with one of the tax proposals that's currently for vote. But the language of that vote is really that we'll be able to use the taxes that are coming in, and the taxes on Shibarium are taken in Bone, and the taxes on Ethereum are taken in K9. So we'll be able to start pairing a lot of those taxes to continuously add more liquidity to the token, not only on Ethereum, but Shibarium as well.
And those would be questions to follow up in the Telegram, because liquidity provision gets kind of murky real quick, and I'm not an expert by any means. So if you guys have any questions about liquidity, either that's being added by the DAO and how that affects things, or if you're ever interested in liquidity provision on your own, that's a whole crazy conversation that I think Funk and Buzz and Turtle would want to have in a more closed setting, because it gets real weird and Spaces isn't the places for it. But I appreciate you getting into a little bit of that. Now, I know I got a little note next to my last thing, because you mentioned that the holders on chain was lower than, I guess, maybe what you expected or anything. I'm going to sound real weird because I know I'm in the K9 Finance account, but this was a question that I just had all day long. The expectation of transfer over from the amount of holders we had on ETH to the amount of holders we had on Shibarium, I think, is a bit surprising for a few people. And you actually went right up front and said it up front, and I gave it 16 minutes to breathe, but I'm ready to get into it now. Why do you think that is? Like, it's not FUD. This is just analysis of stuff. Like, why is it so hard to get people over? You said education. You thought maybe, is it just people don't have the RPC in their wallets? Do you think it's just they don't have the swaps in their browsers? Like, what do you? Funk's already got his hand up. Funk, I knew you'd be there quick as shit. But I'm gonna make Buzz answer it first because he's the one that opened the gates earlier. Buzz, what do you think it is that's the holdback on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not surprised at the number of our current holders that moved over to and bridged their tokens over to Shibarium, and I think that goes down to just needing a carrot to bridge over. And there is a downside right now to bridging to Shibarium, and that is we have an ongoing vote. And right now, if your K9 tokens are on Shibarium, you can't vote in the Snapshot proposal. So we've had a lot of community members asking about that. And there's also a lot more liquidity right now on Ethereum as well. And what we saw yesterday is that when the price of K9 went almost to 4 zeros and then a 4, so almost double the price of what it was on Ethereum, we did see a little bit of a mad rush of people bridging their K9 tokens over to go sell and take advantage of that arbitrage opportunity. So I think that speaks to the carrot aspect of, like, people are willing to do it if there's money to be made, and we do expect many more people to be bridging once staking is live for K9 and the product is live, because then there's a tangible, hey, I need to bridge over to Shibarium because I want to do this. And staking, I think, is going to be a big carrot in that.
All right, before I go to Funk, I have a follow-up question, and if you can't answer this, then that's fine, but just remember, these are the kinds of questions I have to ask for everyone else. Safe to say that maybe the earlier this was done, the more beneficial this might be for that, what's the word, retroactive airdrop I keep hearing about in all the spaces. It's all the buzz. You want to be there for this sooner than later, right? Because you can see timestamps on the blockchain. Funk, you unmuted, tear me apart, but you know I'm right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll get into that in a second. I did want to weigh in as well as to why we didn't maybe see like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 holders on K9. And a big part of that on Shibarium blockchain. And one part of that is because the token has been live for 5 months. It's a bridge token. It's the same token. You can buy it on Ethereum. So the price started out about 10% lower than the Ethereum pool. So definitely had that initial momentum and initial drive. But with a bridge token, this is important to understand, is that the prices are going to balance out as people transfer to and from Shibarium and buy. So yeah, like there's a lot of people that have been maybe waiting to buy on the Shibarium blockchain specifically. But what I would say is that, it's been an open market. K9 is the same token on Shibarium and ETH. So it's been able to be purchased for 6 months. So it's not like a brand new launch where you'd see everyone rushing to grab that early bag and FOMOing in and speculating on the price. But the price has been speculated on ETH for quite some time. And although this is a catalyst, this expands our markets, our network, our reach. It's still also a lot of work to bridge over to Shibarium. So it's also an indicator of how much K9 Bone Crusher product is needed to be that carrot that Buzz is talking about to get people to go over to Shibarium. I was on Shibarium in the first week of launch, and I traded on there for a couple months, and I left functionally Shibarium for the most part to come work and help K9, because I saw K9 and Bone Crusher as the major catalyst that is going to get this adopted. I saw that as needed. So in some ways I haven't been trading over there, I'll be completely honest. But this was my first time going back over there and trading there since I've been gone. And I think that over time, K9 will be, as a token on Shibarium, will be a draw to people. It's got the thickest liquidity pools pretty much besides the DAM token at this time. And we're going to continue to expand to Swap, which reaches their market, and Swap, which reaches new markets over there. So I'm really bullish, even though the early numbers were low, that Bone Crusher and K9 are going to drive people, and we're going to educate them one by one. And I think that K9 is what is needed to make that happen.
I actually selfishly don't mind if that many people don't bridge over. It just means for the people who actually do bridge over and are staking K9 or qualifying for the retroactive airdrop, first off, they're going to own a higher proportion of the rewards that are coming from the validator system when they stake, because the fewer number of K9 that stake, the more rewards you're going to get, and all that staking is going to happen on Shibarium. And second off, the being on Shibarium and using K9 there, as we know as a community, is going to be a big driver for the retroactive airdrop. So people who aren't doing that, it's more K9 to go around for the folks that do, and more yield from the K9 product system that's going to go around to people who take the time to bridge over and eventually stake their K9 too.
All great points. That's kind of what I was thinking too. It wouldn't be the mad rush, and Funk addressed it too, which he's being realistic when he says it's not a new token launch, it's a bridge/new launch. So those are all good points. I appreciate you guys addressing those. I just want to make sure all the mods and make sure all the people that are listening that are in the Telegram get used to hearing that. That way, if anybody else shows up and says anything about why the discrepancy between holders, there's a number of reasons, and some of them are K9 related, like Funk got into. Some of them are Shibarium related and volume related over there. There's a lot of things that are going to have an impact on the overall holder count over time. So if you don't like the holder count, then I would ask, when's the last time you made a post about it? And that's enough of that. Turtle, I have some questions because we have a Snapshot vote that has gone live, and there was a roundtable meeting, and I am desperately in need of these updates because I just checked out the Snapshot today. Can you please fill me in on what's going on and what's being voted on?
Yeah, for sure. So first thing I actually want to mention roundtable related is we had 3 new members join us on the roundtable this go around, which was great. Lots of valuable feedback on the actual meeting. And so it's really good to have, new fresh blood and fresh perspectives as part of the roundtable. So I want to welcome Crypto Queen, No One, his funny name, but his name is No One, and Crypto Hero to the roundtable, just so everyone knows. So if anyone sees them, give them a thank you for spending their time helping operate the DAO. And as far as proposals and votes go, we have 2 proposals that are actually now live on Snapshot. They've been on the forum, have received really resounding positive support, not a lot of pushback. And kind of to speak to each of those, the first one is related to the hackathon at ETH Toronto. So like everyone knows, K9 is a gold sponsor of the conference. We're doing a bunch of things there. One of those things is the hackathon, and we really value that because driving developers to Shibarium is really what we're all about. And so we decided that we wanted to put up a reasonably sized bounty of 10,000 K9. So that puts us among the top bounties for the hackathon. And so a lot of thought was put into how to structure that and how that works. And there are requirements and criteria that have to be met. So, it wouldn't be impossible that not all of the bounty were given out because there may not be enough qualified projects by the end of it. But we wanted to give serious builders something to look at and to kind of latch onto. So that's the first proposal. And if you want to vote on that, it's on Snapshot. It looks like lots of voting has already come in. I think there's like 7 or 8 billion token votes in already, which is incredible. That's only been up for 3 or 4 hours, I think. So lots of community engagement like usual. The second proposal is related to the K9 tax structure. So Buzz alluded to that a little bit earlier. So with K9 token being live on Shibarium, it kind of presents an opportunity to differentiate the tax structure from Ethereum. And so what was put forward in the forum is to increase the taxes up to 4.9% on Ethereum while keeping them at the 3%. This is on the sell tax. The buy taxes are both 0 on Shibarium. And what you would expect this to do is give even more of a reason for users to bridge in and start using Shibarium, which would create more TVL and more activity on Shibarium. So kind of trying to guide the value creation to Shibarium, which is what K9 is always going to try to focus on doing. And that one is up for vote as well. Buzz, you may have a little bit more color you want to add to that one, but overall, that's the update.
Yeah, I talked about this a lot in the roundtable meeting yesterday, and taxes have always been the hottest topic of people making proposals to the forum and talking about it in the forum and in the community as well. And a lot of thought was put. I was the one that presented this proposal. There were some proposals in the past that didn't go through that I think are related to the solution that we've tried to come up with here. So it's multifaceted. We identified like, hey, the arbitrage bot on Ethereum is still going. And what we know about that bot is that it's not smart enough to know what the sell tax is on a token when it's executing arbitrage opportunities. So we're still going to benefit from more taxes being taken in from that bot there on Ethereum. It's set at 4.9% because the threshold for a high tax token on DEX tools is 5%. So we're sitting below that. And then it helps us solve an issue of people bridging to Shibarium. So there's more of an incentive to bridge to Shibarium. And the last point is that there's been a couple proposals surrounding like, hey, we want taxes to be burned, or we want taxes to be used for this, or we want it to be used for a different activity. And the language of this vote is giving the management council the ability to use the taxes within a monthly operational budget. And in that budget, we could, as a community, decide to use them for burns or decide to use them for growing the team or adding more liquidity. So it gives us the ability to start using those taxes and putting them to work as a DAO.
A critical function. You don't want to build all that up and then not have a plan for it. So everybody, it's either forum.k9finance.com if you want to be a part of the conversation that eventually leads to the roundtable of dogs, or if you want to participate in the Snapshot vote, then you need to be on Snapshot. You need to join the K9 DAO on Snapshot and be a functional member of the DAO by using your tokens to participate. That's what governance tokens are for. Theoretically, I don't know, 90% of the tokens I've ever bought that said they were governance tokens never got me anywhere close to where we are. So I'm proud of the work that you guys have done to bring those together. And I'm also proud of the 3 members of the roundtable for having their first time around. I know no one is in the listeners. Last time we had a chance to talk to Hero, and we didn't hear from Queen yet, but they're always welcome up here if they ever want to come up and have a conversation about it. I'd love to hear from their perspective, since this was their first time, I think, sitting in the roundtable, what they thought of things too, because they got a chance to go on the inside, like the curtain being pulled back as it was, and they got to see how the sausage was made, is what they always say. You don't want to find out. So I'd be curious what they were like. Oh my God, when Buzz is not in public, he's such a bully and all he does is curse at me. I thought Shane was the bad guy.
I love that. Yeah, if you're here, Crypto Queen or anyone Hero, if you guys want to request to come up, it'd be great to get your insights and how you feel about it. The other 2 things kind of going on in the forum is there is a ongoing proposal and discussion about implementing a slashing penalty for folks that have lost their wallets on the vesting contract. Those changes take a lot of time and come with risk, and so there's a staged schedule that was proposed there, so open for discussion if anyone feels like that applies to them. First of all, make sure you haven't lost your wallet. But yeah, that proposal will be continued until the next roundtable.
I can chat on that one as well. So in the terms and the token terms and conditions that are at the bottom of the website, it is for anyone that owns K9, it is the responsibility just in all blockchain and all Web3 of a person to have the security of their own wallet and make sure that their own coins are safe. And that pertains to the vesting contract as well. So when your tokens are in the vesting contract and you're responsible to be claiming them every month, if you did lose your wallet, it isn't really the responsibility of us as a DAO to help. But up until this point, we have helped people. I think probably about 10 to 12 people have lost access to their wallet, and we've been able to help them move their vested tokens to a new wallet to make sure that they're not losing them. But this does take about 30 minutes to an hour of time to convene everybody that is on the multi-sig to get the transaction, put the transaction through. And of course there's gas fees as well. And the DAO up until this point has been, of course, taking that time to do that for the users and spending the gas fees as well. And as we're now, 4 or 5 months after the tokens being put into that vesting contract, we started to think hey, the DAO should really be focused on building and should really be focused on using capital towards growth, and thought this was a very balanced proposal where we can continue to assist people. We don't want to leave anybody out to dry, but it gives a financial motivation where people should make sure that their wallet is safe, but if they don't, then the DAO will take a penalty, and that will be used for the DAO. The money will go to the DAO if there is a penalty, but it's a financial motivation to make sure that the DAO is getting something out of it if people are losing access to their wallet.
It's such a PC explanation of something that I could sum up with much more curt language, but everybody please go read it because I'm sure it's worded exactly the way it needs to be worded. Forum.k9finance.com. Buzz, I'm going to go check it out because I haven't seen it there yet, and I am excited to read it. There's a potential right now, and I don't know if anybody else can tell or not, that we might be having connection problems. I saw 2 people cycle up and down through the speakers. If anybody else is having connection problems, remember, if you come up and it has a problem and you cycle back down, request again, because either me or Funk can pull you back up if that happens. I saw 2 people come up and down. Is everybody else able to hear me? No one's back up here. Is your connection all right? No one?
I sure hope so. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can, man. Thank you for coming up. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. I'm kind of curious because we were talking about the roundtable and wondering what your perspective was from the outside looking in on how everything went this time around.
Well, it went very well. We got a lot of updates from Buzz and Turtle about how things are running. Been there for the first time. It was quite exciting and interesting to see. So they're doing a lot of amazing work behind the scenes for the DAO, and they have shared a lot of information with us. So it's really nice and exciting to see. Also, I dug deep into the forum to see all the proposals, how they went, the past ones as well as the current ones. I did some comments there and got valuable feedback on it as well, so I was quite in favor of both. So for the taxes, it's quite an important one because I know we've had quite a few changes in the past, and they accomplish, as already have been told, quite a few good points dealing with the bot, but also stimulating the activity on Shibarium, and so does the hackathon as well. So it would create, hopefully, if enough people participate and create the apps which we are looking for. There are descriptions in the forum as well. I'm sure they will be shared in the hackathon itself. Quite useful apps which will be uploaded afterwards on an open source. So in case those projects do not want to pursue them further, they can be taken over by the DAO directly. Or in case they are interested in keeping them, then it's possible to get even assistance if they are good. So basically it's like grassroots program for the Shibarium. So it's very important because the K9 is the leader of Shibarium, as we all know. So it's very important that we have different programs, different communities creating stuff on Shibarium, creating projects on Shibarium. So it's very important to support them. And this will be one of the ways how this can be done. But also because we will need, as K9 Finance, the Shibarium community will be the users there as well. So it's important to create these projects in order to ensure that we actually have demand for the KN bone in the future, because these projects will be the ones which we cooperate with in the future.
Well, I'd like to
I tend to talk a lot, so just pitch in it whenever you like.
No, man. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to put your brain into thinking about all this stuff, because I'm sure a couple of listeners are sitting here going, man, I don't even know half of what he's getting into. That's the point, my guy. That's why we got people like the Round Table of Dogs to go through this stuff, because not everyone's going to be doing the reading and the heavy lifting. But I hope by listening to him, you're a little bit more inspired to know that's why people like him pass the voting process. That's why those people are up there making these decisions. So thank you, No One, for combing through the forums and diligently reading everything. We totally appreciate it. And I know we can look forward to more updates from you. And I appreciate your diligence, honestly. It's that attention to detail that makes things go round. So it's very cool. Buzz has told me, and I think Funk probably knows about this too, that there's something cool coming up in the whale chat this week that I know a little something about. Buzz, do you want to talk about what's going on?
Yeah, so for anyone who might be here for the first time, a canine whale is considered anybody that has over 400 million canine tokens, and we have a special Telegram chat that's private with all the members of dev team and stuff like that who are working on K9 to really give more support in there. It's really hard to follow thousands of messages a day, but we try to share as many perks and alpha in there as possible for those who are our largest holders. And next Friday, we will be having a private demo in the Whale Chat Telegram of the first ever viewing of the K9 product live on PuppyNet. So myself, Shima, Turtle, I'm sure Funk will be there as well. We'll be going through the demo end to end. It'll be an hour long, and we'll be showing exactly how the product works and talking through what it does under the hood. So giving people a private sneak peek into what the public beta is going to look like, and giving the whales that before anybody else.
It's such a good idea, and it creates a sense of comfortability to see what's being done, and it's a perk for those that have built up that bag and held it. Funk, I know you've put in a lot of effort to get that whale chat up and running and make sure people are reminded of it. How excited are you to see what I would consider to be like a catalyst event for members to look into it?
Yeah, I mean, the whale chat has been a massive success, and part of that's due to the team and Buzz's and DeFi Turtle over there. It's called DeFi Turtle. Turtle's ability to basically deliver on what we promised them. You know, when I came in, I said, hey, let's ramp up this whale chat. Let's come up with these perks. Let's pick this amount and really incentivize people to become big holders of K9 and really get involved in the ecosystem in a deeper level. And so we created all these perks, and Buzz, true to his word there, has been able to actualize those, as well as Turtle, as well as a lot of other people. I do got to also shout out the hoodies and everything that those guys did for us as well. Sorry, I'm started stumbling with the names right now for a second. But in any case, it's just for 400 million tokens. It's not that insane of a number for regular people to get to. And so they truly can feel like they're part of a whale in a project, like they're getting these perks, they're They're getting to test the products early. They're getting kind of this extra information kind of in a way and details about the project and everything else like that. So it's really been a source of buy pressure, I think. It's been helping hold the floor and helping build new holder bases for us and incentivizing people to show them that K9 in some way or another is going to find ways to reward them, whether that's airdrops, whether that's the whale chat, free hoodies, VIP tickets to Toronto, to go to the crypto convention. We're going to find ways to give the love back to the biggest holders. That's as simple as that.
Go ahead, Owen.
Yeah, I just want to summarize like all the perks that for those who don't know and might be interested in becoming a whale. Since we put the program together just a couple months ago, we've been able to partner with Shiba Cows, where all of our whales have gotten a first edition K9 hoodie. There was a pre-sale from another Shibarium related project where our whale chat got the option to participate in the pre-sale for that project. We were able to give all of our whales VIP tickets that are valued over $2,000 a piece to the ETH Toronto conference that we'll be making a major announcement at next month. We're going to be having food and bottle service at the private cabana for all of the whales at the conference. So there'll be bottles of tequila and vodka and a specific whale meetup happening at that VIP cabana at the ETH Toronto conference. And of course, there's going to be this private demo of the product, and typically the additional alpha, and I'm sure people might be able to talk about it if they're in that chat, is just myself, Turtle, and some other people in the community trying to be much more active there and give more longer form answers to people when they're asking questions and trying to learn about K9, because it can be difficult in a chat with almost 10,000 people, whereas in the whale chat, I think we only have about 70 people in there.
Such a good idea to have that smaller, intimate setting, because it does allow for the more accurate conversations of stuff too. No one, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to brag a little, or do a compliment as well. After looking at everything that K9 is doing and having our roundtable of dogs and looking through the DAO forum and things like that, I do feel like I trust the project a lot. So I really feel like it is doing really great, and it can become really great. Of course, non-financial advice, but I did take a leap of faith and actually topped up my holding up to 400 million K9 tokens. So I'm officially a whale now as well.
Hey, congratulations, my guy. Hit those emojis for this guy getting into the club just in time to get the sneak peek at the stuff. See, there's catalyst action, Funk. We got people FOMOing into the whale. By the way, I'm not normally the kind of person that says buy tokens, so that's not what I'm doing. But I will tell you, every time I've ever had an opportunity to get into a group, an alpha group, I sure wish I did it when the price was low instead of when it was high. Because man, when the price is going up and you're like, oh, I should have been there, it always hurts that much more to do it. So take that all into consideration. I know DCA is a good practice. I don't know what you all do in your financial spare time or anything, but these are all great points, and no one, thank you for reinforcing that. We have one or two more news things, and then we've got Buzz's Corner, and then we're going to wrap this piece up again so I can get out and send you guys back to your regular days. But I was hoping to hear from and I'm calling him out just because I know he'll hear the recording, because I want to hear his voice again. It's nice to hear from him every now and then, and I know Dev is deving, but we need a treasury update. Do you guys remember we put all that money away into that whole DeFi thing? How's that going? I want to ask Buzz, because Shima's not here, and it was Shima's grand plan that passed the forum, if you guys remember correctly. So we're going to hold Buzz 100% accountable for Shima's actions as he gives us the update today. Buzz, how's the money?
The money's doing great. Shima has a really interesting sleep schedule. So sometimes he'll be online at like 4 to 6 in the morning, and then kind of be around for our morning stand-ups, and then he'll take a nap and stuff like that. So it's not unusual for Shima to maybe be deving or taking a nap or something like that. So don't worry, he's alive for those who are wondering. He's just that's just him. It's his personality. But the treasury is doing very well. So as a recap, we have the ETH positions are in liquid staking products, so spread out evenly between Lido, Rocket Pool, and Frax, which are the three largest LSD products on Ethereum. And then for our stable coins, we have that equally distributed between some lending protocols, so Maker and Aave. I might be forgetting one, but on average, so we're making as a DAO about $3,000 per month in passive income from these positions. So of course, what comes with these is that there's a little bit of smart contract risk. These are some of the safest places that you can be placing your money in DeFi. But we have to be holding ETH. And just like we're holding Bone and other assets in the treasury, right now the ETH position may be down a little bit just because of the downturn here in the market the past couple weeks. But we remain bullish on ETH and we remain holding that for the long term. We still think this is a bull market and this is a little bit of a blip in the radar, but we're making ETH, we're making stable coins, and it's about $3,000 a month in passive income for holding those assets in those DeFi positions.
Cool, man. I appreciate the number update. And of course, Shima knows I'm just giving him shit. I only give shit to the people I care about. So take it as a compliment. But from the community, we would love to get an opportunity if we even have to meet his weird schedule. Maybe we'll get him in with Frank one night. And we'll let Frank have the update or something like that. We gotta throw a softball over to Frank and tee him up for an interview or something like that. We'll figure out the sleep schedule. But you guys hear that? The money's making money, which is the American dream, as I understand it. Used to be 2 kids in the car and stuff, but the money's making money. And that's all I wanted to hear because that'll go in the notes. And anybody that's interested, Buzz, isn't there a tracking website that's really easy for everybody to follow along that's public as well?
Yeah, so the DAO wallet is kninesafe.eth, which is easier to say than the full string of the wallet address. But if you were to go to dbank.com, I think that's the URL, Turtle can correct me, and you just paste in the K9 Finance Treasury wallet, it's kninesafe.eth. You'll be able to see every single holding, and if you do choose, DBank is a great tool. You can subscribe to it to be looking at a lot of different portfolio trackers, maybe even for yourself. But if you do subscribe, you're able to actually see the change in these positions over time and see some really nice graphs and whatnot in there. So I definitely recommend going to DBank and checking that out. It's a great tool. And one of the other things I wanted to touch on in regards to Treasury that we were able to update the roundtable on is that we've done, we now have over $100,000 worth of Bone holdings, and we've probably had about $60,000 worth of net purchases over the course of the last month or so, as we're dollar cost averaging with the market coming down and us feeling that this is a good time to be purchasing Bone. And also presents a good opportunity not just to be adding these liquidity pools on Shibarium, but also using it in the K9 validator, which is up now and validating blocks, and which we could talk about next week. Probably too much for this DAO Spaces here, but also an opportunity to be using that Bone within the K9 product as well. So we're walking the walk on Ethereum and putting the DAO capital into liquid staking on Ethereum, and very excited to be able to use that Bone and put it into the K9 product on the Shibarium side and have our own money and our own product be working for us as a DAO.
So much of that treasury update is walking the walk, whether it's the treasury being invested in products like Lido and Maker, or whether it's using the Bone that you've promised we were going to use. So much of that is just about follow through and consistency, and I value that so much. So it's very, very cool to get those updates. Genuinely appreciate that. Let's pivot to Buzz's corner, because Buzz has had a busy week, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a life outside of K9 Finance, and it does include the fact that he will have musings sometimes on subjects that we might all learn something from. So gather around for Buzz's corner, week 25, everybody. Buzz, what's on your mind this week?
Oh, I have a bunch of stuff on my mind. I mean, generally what comes to my mind is when I have the opportunity to go on spaces like Mario's with the help of yourself, Shane, and talking with Mario and getting up there and joining conversations in the crypto sphere. And I think it was last week I was able to join one about a scam that happened. It was a meme coin called Mamba that ended up giving, I think it was 80% of the supply of their entire token to an individual who claimed he was, I think he was claiming to them that he was a billionaire and he was this master market maker. He was the market maker for Dog with Hat, and he was going to be able to take their token to the moon. And that made me think a lot about just the great advisory that we have surrounding K9 and the DAO in general to be, I mean, I would hope that no one here would need advisory not to give 80% of the entire supply of K9 tokens to one person and not watch them run away. But I think we can all celebrate that there's some great people with not only market making expertise, but expertise within the DAO that would, or our advisors that would not make things like that happen. And yesterday was on another one with Mario as well, where they were talking about, I can't even remember the name of this token. I think it was called T, but yet another rug where there was a project doing a ton of marketing, and all of a sudden the owner of the project or the dev or whomever had access to the wallet ran away with the majority of their pre-sale funds. So I always find that Buzz's Corner, or whatever we're calling this, is a good opportunity to look at how other projects are failing in the space. Like there's a ton of meme projects that are getting so much attention on Base or Solana, wherever it is. They're going up to market caps that are so much larger than where we're at with K9 right now. And then look at the foundation that we've put in place with the multi-sig, the governance, the DAO structure, the advisors we've put in place, and how much expertise there is in the project, and then start to question people you're talking about with in different crypto rooms or Telegram groups of like, why are you buying this token? Like, here are the risks associated, and hey, look at this project that I love called K9 and everything that it's done to build a foundation for long-term success, because there are a lot of risks out there, and unfortunately a lot of the projects who are getting a ton of clout and a ton of marketing right now, they're not really delivering on those promises. So what we can promise as a DAO is that we're delivering on what we're saying, and we've set up a really great foundation so that many of these things you're seeing in rugs and other projects who are not delivering, it's not going to happen here because we have this strong foundation.
Such a good point, and I'm not going to let you get away with Buzz's Corner or whatever we call this. My guy, it's been 25 weeks. That's what we call this. you can't change it to like Buzz's trash heap now. It's too late. We're too invested in this. But if you want to continue to bring up projects that are having problems or talking about the things that you see going wrong, man, that's why it's your corner. Yeah, I actually have been watching it evolve into whatever you want it to be, and that was why we handed it to you that way in the first place. Frankly, there are a couple of people in here that would listen to a Buzz podcast if you just sat down for 3 hours and talk to yourself with one of those microphones. I know there's a few people in here who do it. So we're just getting a small taste of what actually goes on in your mind. And you guys, if you're not following Buzz, he doesn't just talk about K9 on X. He gets out and does other stuff. And not just the Mario spaces either. I would encourage all of you to, this is just X advice, be a little bit of yourself for sure, because otherwise you're going to get stuck in that crypto silo, and it's very small. And Buzz does a good job of mixing in his personal thoughts on X as well as talking about his preferred projects. But if all you do is talk about your preferred projects, man, your reach gets absolutely smashed. So please mix in a little bit about who you are or what you're interested in. Look at how Lightspeed does it. He does a great job. He's been following my advice for a long time. Be a little bit organic on X, and it always helps your reach. And that's why Buzz's Corner was meant to be this. And I actually would like to, I'd be curious if next week Funk spends a lot of time out in the wild, out in the jungle, slashing stuff around too, and probably doesn't get a chance to talk a lot on Spaces as himself, because he's either coin merge or he's K9 and things like that. Funk, what is on your mind is something I think people would wonder too. Do you ever get a chance to just ruminate on X if I asked you that question?
Man, first of all, I appreciate the opportunity to get a Funk's Corner here. So I'm honored, probably don't deserve it. But yeah, I think about markets in general. I think about utility projects. I've been thinking about trading strategies a lot as of late. I've recently, this is not financial advice, kind of taken on a new trading strategy of diversifying and only ever buying projects with high tech and good utility. And the reason being is because I just had a slew of L's with meme coins just that have no utility at all. unlike Shib, who has a fantastic ecosystem of products that are being built on it. Shout out to the Shib main account, throw a follow on that. So I've kind of taken a process of just diversifying, and even just like a couple hundred or 1,000 here, 1,000 there in projects that I really am inspired by their selflessness, the character of their teams, as well as the fundamentals of their technology, the products that they're building, the viability of those. I'm going to try it out for a little bit, but K9 certainly, that's what drew me to K9 originally, just how sound the fundamentals are, just how ethical the team was, how much they care about every little detail and every holder, and no one's too small or too big. And so those are just kind of the things that I've been thinking about is what makes a project good. And it's maybe a little bit boomery, a little bit stock minded, like towards like regular stocks, rather than like the degeneracy of picking the next lottery ticket. But that's just where my heart is at with the market. So
listen, dude, first of all, there's nothing wrong with taking L's in crypto. No one's going to be perfect forever. L's are the cost of education. It's the crypto college we all go to. I got a long history that my Etherscan shows you how I got where I am today and what I know. But the other thing about it is that the losses that you take along the way that are teaching you these things are the things that make you a better trader. I will tell you this, a third of my portfolio is still Bitcoin. Like, I might talk a big game. We're out here in meme world and stuff, but hot damn, I know where my money needs to sit. And there's a bit of risk tolerance in how everyone performs. So if you guys, this would be another good one too. This is why we have our Telegram. And in particular, this is why you have access to people like Funk. If you want to have conversations with Funk about stuff like this, jump into the voice chats that Frank and Funk and all these people host. Because this is not just K9 chats when you guys have access to these guys. Ask Funk about his L's, learn together, get together, commiserate these things, because we don't have all the time to do it on Spaces, and frankly we don't want to do it in public anyway, because drinking and crying in our beer is not a good look on Spaces. But damn it, we've all had those experiences. So I appreciate that, Funk, and if we get a chance, I'm going to try and budget the time to make sure that we get a little bit of Funk's corner. I'm going to make a little slice of the corner from Buzz's corner for Funk, because I know it would be good for everybody to be a little bit more themselves on X, as I don't get to do as much of it either. So I appreciate you guys doing corners with me this week, and I appreciate you guys getting together for week 25 of the Spaces. We literally did not have enough time, no matter what I was going to do today, to get to this stuff, because like we said, it's not just the bridge to Shibarium, it's not just the launch on Shibarium. There's also validator stuff that we didn't get to go over all the way. There's also stuff coming up with the product launch that we didn't get to cover, and there's the preview coming to the whale chat that we still have to convince you to get into. So from here, when we close out this Spaces, please go to the Telegram and keep the hype rolling over there. Convince them to throw on an after show, and you can keep it rolling over there. So my thank you to everyone that shows up, the comment section, the listeners, everyone that requested spots, and everybody that gave us our updates. You guys know I appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to the Shib account for coming up and hanging out in the co-host spot. It sure looks good on you. You look good up here next to me, and Funk gives you a special shine, man. I appreciate you coming through and hanging out. By the way, you had people fucked up coming to the Mario Spaces like that, because that's the kind of thing that made me laugh, because I was able to go in the chat and be like, hey, would you like the main Shib account to come to the Spaces? No big deal. So thank you for doing that, my guy. They were all twirled up about that. We made an impression, you guys. They know who we are. Everyone knows who we were. So keep it up. And Buzz, I appreciate the hard work you've done to get the launch going. And make sure, forum.k9finance.com. My last call to action on that, you guys. So week 26, next time we get together, same time, same place. Follow the K9 account. Follow all your speakers. Turn on notifications, replies and comments on everything. My name's CryptoPulse, Pulse Digital. Remember, I'm not the K9 Finance account. I'm just a guy up here like the rest of you, being a DAO member, voting on snapshots, and having fun on X. And we're going to do it again next week on Weekly DAO Update Spaces number 26 with K9 Finance. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you next time.